Very good.
How's it going, my man?
Very good. Do you want to tell me a little bit more about yourself, why you're in Bali, what the business idea is? Just free roll, bro.
Yeah, sure. So my background's actually in recruitment. So I've spent the best part of nearly a decade in financial services recruitment, working in sort of the rat race of London.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah. Corporate
What
recruitment.
sector?
Microsoft.
Microsoft.
Tech recruitment.
Okay. So it's financial services technology. So had some really good years, bro, to be honest. Had some really successful years. Obviously, recruitment's very much a job that's sort of very commission aligned kind of industry, and had some really good years. But I feel like just since the sort of the pandemic, I think it's quite evident that the UK economic kind of crisis at the minute, and a lot of the banks we was working with just went on hiring freezes, making people redundant. And I think eventually I just sort of lost the love for the job and the industry, and I just kind of knew that I needed to look at doing something a bit different.
Question. What made you get into recruitment?
So I started when I was 18. I'm now 28. And I actually had a family friend that had a very successful recruitment business. And when I used to go around there as a kid, he had a big house, a big car on his drive, and I always just kind of intrigued by sort of how he made his money. And then I remember leaving college when I was 16, 17, and I knew sort of university wasn't the route that I wanted to go down. And I just started picking his brain about what he'd done, sort of how he kind of made his money. And he started just telling me about recruitment and told me sort of the benefits, what's entailed. And I just kind of knew from there that was kind of the direction that I wanted to go down.
So interesting. One of the only people I've ever met that actually chose to go into recruitment. No, it's something you just fall into.
You always fall into it, and it's very hard to go back because it is a job where you get out what you put in, and when the money starts to roll in, you get obviously the reward for that kind of hard work.
Did you see good success in your time that we earning good commission?
It took time, bro. It took time. And I think a lot of people make that mistake when going into recruitment because, yes, you can earn very good money, but it's a good 2 to 3 years of grind before you actually think to yourself, like, I'm actually starting to earn like quite good money now. So, yeah, it wasn't until probably year 3 where I was just like, I'm actually doing quite well. And I got quite lucky because the company that I first joined was a startup at the time. And it just absolutely took off. So we went from like 10, 15 consultants to 300-400 globally within 5 years. And I was really fortunate. So I had the opportunity to go out to New York with the company. So I had 2 years there, which was an amazing experience. I say that first year amazing, second year was when COVID hit. So I had basically 6 months in a studio apartment in Manhattan on my own, and it wasn't a pleasant experience, that's for sure. But that first year was amazing.
And were you able to make good money in recruitment as well?
Yeah. I'd done very well before COVID, definitely. Since COVID, the market never really recovered. And I think that's just when I started to lose sort of the love that I had for the industry.
So you did actually really enjoy it, though? It wasn't.
I did. Yeah, I did. And I learned a lot. Obviously, you've been working in recruitment yourself, you know, sort of the industry. And it's a really tough industry to go down, but it teaches you a lot about life and people management, human psychology. And I think there's a lot that I've taken from recruitment that I'll be able to implement into my e-com career, which obviously I'm very, very going into. So yeah.
What was what made you quit then? What did you have, I call it an FT, was it FTE, fuck this event?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I can't do this anymore, work hard, play hard, stressed.
Yeah.
Okay, the money's good, but if you fast forward 10, 20, 30 years, you see those who are doing that existence, and it just terrified me. So why did you say?
I didn't have that one specific moment. I think it was, obviously we'll go into this in a lot more detail, but I started working on the concept of my e-com brand Brazy around this time last year.
Okay. What was the story behind?
So as you can see, I've got curly hair, and I've always just had a really keen interest in wanting to start my own haircare brand. And initially when I started working on the concept, I was going to bring a product to market that was a curl cream product that was specific for men, because a lot of products out there are women specific and are very sort of feminine kind of products. So I started working on sort of the concept, but I just knew that I had to bring something that was a lot more unique to the market. And at the time of sort of working on the concept of Brazy, I got really into my wellness, I went on a really big kind of self-growth kind of journey, went into a bit of a sort of a monk mode kind of period, as they say.
While still working?
While still working, yeah. And I think that journey just kind of naturally led me on a bit of a spiritual path. So I got really intrigued by like the mindfulness element of spirituality, and I was thinking to myself, like, how can I try and mix like the wellness and the spiritual stuff that I've become quite passionate about into sort of a haircare brand, and mix the two together. And then, yeah, that's when sort of the concept of Brazy was born. And it started as a bit of a passion project, to be honest, where I was just like, it's just going to be a bit of a side hustle whilst obviously I'm working my full-time job. But although we still haven't launched it, I feel like I've grown it into something already where I'm like, I think I can actually make a bit of a go of this. And I'm quite passionate about what I'm doing. And I don't want to go into too much depth, but in the past, I had struggled with my mental health. I think working up London, very stressful job, always out, sort of drinking, entertaining clients, and it caught up on me in the end. And then when I started on sort of this wellness journey myself, I just noticed how sort of significant changes to my life that it made. And what I'd love to be able to do is through the brand that I'm building is help people on their journey, people that are struggling, because it's a tough world we live in nowadays, right? I think like there's families in the UK all over the world that are struggling to pay their bills and all walks of life. And it's really important that you get your mindset right. And I think since I started on that journey myself and I've seen the profound changes that I've had to my entire outlook, I think there's a really cool way of me sort of integrating that into the brand I'm building. I think it gives us a really sort of good, unique selling point. So I'm really excited about what's to come, to be honest.
Yeah, it sounds amazing, bro. And a lot of the times when businesses or products are born out of the founder's frustration, or if they're scratching their own itch, and by that I mean they're solving their own problems, you validate that there's at least a market of one. And if you have this problem, it's probably not going to be unique to you. You've spotted a gap, but now it's about what are you actually going to do to bring that thought into reality. Because it's just typical mindset manifestation. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand.
I love that quote.
But it's so true.
Bob Proctor.
So what are you like? What's the process like? How did you come up with the product? Like, tell me the whole story of just like where you are with it.
Sure. So like I said, obviously I started working on the concept of the brand, and funny enough, my sister's actually like a really spiritual kind of person herself, and she's always sort of like carrying crystals. And if I'm honest, I used to think that she was quite mad. And so I sat down with her and I was just like, I'm working on this concept for a hair care brand. Obviously got curly hair. I want to bring something to market that's obviously good, but I want to be able to tie sort of the spiritual stuff into what we're doing. And she said to me, why don't you try and infuse like the healing crystals into the product? And I was like, genius. I was like, I absolutely love that concept.
Cool.
So I started reaching out to manufacturers in the UK and sort of labs that specialize in basically making products from the ground up. And I was speaking to them about the concept, and a lot of them looked at me as if I was kind of mad. And I quickly realized, one, it was hard to find a lab that would do sort of the low MOQs that you kind of need as a self-funding kind of startup. But secondly, how hard it was actually going to be to infuse sort of the crystal into the products. So I looked at it from a sort of different angle. I was like, rather than actually infusing the crystal into the product, why don't we inspire each product by a specific crystal? We include a physical crystal with each product, and we just take people on like a wellness journey. So of a morning when you're doing your hair, you're not just looking in the mirror and doing your hair. You're cautious or you're conscious of like, what's your plan for the day? What's your goals? What are you grateful for in your life? What manifestation, just all aspects of like spirituality and mindfulness. And that's sort of where the concept just kind of come from, and it's just sort of grown since then. And I think the reason why I wanted to come out to Bali, because one, obviously it's a big spiritual place, so I want to be able to sort of connect with like-minded spiritual people that can really not just help me on my own spiritual journey, but give me some ideas of like how I can implement it into the brand. And just whilst we were on that note, when I was in Ubud last month, I ended up meeting this American girl, really spiritual. She was a bit of like a psychic kind of reader. And I was telling her just about the brand, what I was working on. And she said to me, have you ever thought about doing Reiki on the products? And at the time, I wasn't too familiar with Reiki. I'd heard of it. I knew it was sort of like a Japanese energy healing technique. But she was like, me as a spiritual person, she said, if I was to come across a brand or a product that done that, she was like, I would like want to buy it in a heartbeat, basically. And it just really stuck in my mind. And then like that afternoon, I was just like looking into Reiki, and I was like, yes, we're doing that. because it's a way that we can infuse the energy of the crystal into the product, and it just gives us a bit of an extra unique selling point. And then, funny enough, I ended up meeting a girl from back home a few days later in Uber that specialised doing Reiki treatment on humans. And then when I said to her, I said, "Have you ever done it on products?" She was like, "No." And I went on ChatGPT and I was like, "How can you do Reiki on products?" And it just gives like a really sort of clear detail. And she was like, "Yeah," she was like, "I can do it." So she's back home now. So when basically I'll go back in a few weeks, I'm going to have some of my sample products ready. We're going to film some content of her doing Reiki on the products, and then she will effectively do the Reiki procedure on all of the products moving forward. So
such a cool story. It fits perfectly in alignment with the type of brands that I love. And I've obviously built as well, is where you're not just selling products to a person. It's not a faceless entity. It's a founder-led story. And you're building a story brand. There's a very good book by a guy called Donald Miller called Building a Story Brand. I definitely recommend that. And how if you are in, say, any competitive field or niche, how you get that point of differentiation, particularly so through e-com. It's much harder to do it through omnichannel and retail because it's very faceless. But online, you control the process and you're able to attract a specific type of customer. And the way you do that is through creative storytelling, whether that's the founder story, whether that's like the way the product is presented and pitched. That whole journey can be very carefully architected. And this gives your consumer, first and foremost, a point of difference, which is obviously important when they have like a myriad of other healthcare products to choose from. And then also it gives them a why, a strong why. They're not just buying a solution to their problem, they're buying something that's going to have like downstream impacts on their health, even if it is just perceived. It might, I'm not saying it is or isn't, but it's sometimes, it's like your thoughts control your reality.
Absolutely.
So it can still, just the thought of using that, all of a sudden now you're not selling curly hair treatment, you're selling a better day, you're selling a better life, a better energy.
Exactly.
And that's downstream second, third, fourth order consequences of that. Like the butterfly impact of that is huge. And now are they going to buy something from like L'Oreal? Or are they going to probably pay a little bit more, but they have all of this information and story? It's like
exactly. It takes people on a bit of a journey.
It's like Nike, they sell an ideal. They don't sell sneakers. Make sense?
It's the journey that you take people on, and that's what makes you unique, I guess.
I think you could do a very good job of architecting that. And that in and of itself is media worthy. So from a press perspective, it's like a good story. It's not just like dude quits his job and starts curly hair brand. It's like now you've had all of these elements, this whole story looping in Bali. And one thing with Bali, you will see it now, because you have that kind of spiritual outlook. Or you're more attuned to it, is that there's a lot. This is like one of the, from my experience anyway, it has an aura around it, but what it seems to do is it attracts synchronicities. And you know what synchronicities are?
No.
It's basically where you think about something. I think, I'm coming here, you set the intention of doing something, and then that person just appears. And it's like, it happens that many times that it's almost impossible for it to be random. And once you see it once, you start to see it everywhere. It's crazy. Even just like the people you meet. So let me give an example of you meeting that girl from home, who's not only from where you're from, but she also does Reiki. The fact you start
the stars align sometimes, doesn't it? You can't explain it, but you
can't. But the key thing is you have to take action. You have to start with intentionality, and then you take action to making and manifesting that into a reality. It's not like I'm just going to think about it and then it's going to appear. You still have to take action. You still have to take steps. You have to get uncomfortable. You've got to take yourself away to different places for new experiences. And then those opportunities present themselves. And it's almost like the universe is watching. Are you going to do something about this? I'm giving you an opportunity here. First and foremost, are you attuned to the fact that this is here? And this sounds woo-woo, but it's not, bro. Like literally.
Mate, I love that.
It really isn't. And it'll just keep happening and happening. But for me, sometimes it's a sign that you're actually on the right path. Like, it's not like everyone thinks it's you against the world, which, go and get me wrong, business is
ruthless, it can feel like that, can't it? Really
but at the same time, I don't ever think it will give you a problem of magnitude that you can't actually overcome. But it's almost like it sometimes sets these tests as like a litmus test as to how much do you actually want this? How much are you willing to go through to get there? And this is for you, it's like I always say, it's not about it's a process, not an event. Brand building. You have 2 marathons. First one is product development. I'm a marathon, bro, not like 3 or 4 steps. It's a marathon. and you think, okay, done, ready to go. Now you're like, oh, now the ultra marathon starts and I actually have to market itself.
There's just so many different plates you've got to spin at one go, isn't there?
100%, yeah. But if you can enjoy it and see it as a process, and like these are the fun times, bro. This is a story you're going to be telling in 3, 4, 5 years on the big podcasts. Going back in this, like even this right here, right now, is going to be part of that journey, and you will look back fondly at it. And the stupid thing is as well, like what you think is going to come now versus what the product actually ends up being, either as the first iteration or the 10th iteration, is irrelevant. You have to go through this. You have to have this experience to know this does or doesn't work and why. And then that gives you the information as to make it better. And you're constantly on that cycle of improvement.
I read a quote the other day and I absolutely loved it. Enjoy being in the process of becoming. I thought that was so powerful because the journey is so tough. Like I haven't even launched the product yet. And there's been tough times. There's been delays. There's been setbacks. But at the end of the day, you can't enjoy the journey. Then you're never going to enjoy it because you'll never get to the destination anyway. So just try and enjoy it as much as you can.
Bro, that's so true.
I love the quote.
I don't know how much you want to go into it, but I remember like there was a specific maybe event that kind of gave you the kick to get into the spiritual side of things. Do you understand how now you can talk about it if you want, or if not, we can skip it. But it's
no, I'd love to
like
talk about it.
You can be grateful for that because it's now opened this door. But in the moment, it probably seemed and felt the perception was this is the worst thing that's happening.
Bro, if you would have said to me a few years ago that I'd be on the journey that I'm on in terms of spirituality, I'm a Jack the lad. Like all of my friends are just typical football fan down the pub. They all think I've lost the plot, which I have, to be honest.
You probably have.
No, I have, bro. I have, but I'm happier for it at the end of the day. And I think what I'd also like to be able to do with like the brand I'm building is just to make people aware of like doing these kind of like the mindfulness stuff. It isn't weird and it can really like help your life, you know. But yeah, like if you would have said to me a few years ago, I would have said absolutely not.
It's mad, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy. But then the bad things that happens, as I said, it actually ends up being the best thing that ever happens to you. But it always comes down to a choice. Is this going to make you or is this going to break you? Okay. And there is a decision between the thing happening and you taking action. And that space in the middle is all important. And you can either use that energy to propel you forward, or it traps you in the past and you just go on a downward spiral. And that's the hard thing. And this is why I always say the mindset is the most important thing. And you
90% mindset, 10%.
I would say 90% mindset. Literally. It's that and 10% execution.
I love that. I see that on your podcast.
Literally.
With Darren,
literally. And I would say all the time, skill set, the mindset will leave you upset, right? But are you going to be a prisoner of your past or an architect of your future? That's the decision. And business is hard, bro. One of the hardest things you'll ever do.
It is.
Particularly so because it doesn't have like a preset destination, and that destination might change or evolve as you change, as you go through different seasons of life, as the business goes through different phases. And it's like an infinite game. Naval calls it like playing infinite games, long-term people, long-term relationships. It's not like something you win at. You win when you exit, if that's what you want to do. But the main thing for you from the mission perspective is to like, what is the impact you're actually wanting to have on the world? That's like, if you have a mission-oriented brand, you have an instant moat. Everyone says like everything's competitive or it's been done before. Like, bro, you just need literally to you don't need to recreate the wheel. Literally, you don't. It's just a case of like, how can you get a clear point of differentiation and then refine your messaging so that all of a sudden now, like you have a secondary and tertiary objective that's baked into like the whole mission and the vision of the brand that's founder-led. And bro, I think you do really well. It's not going to be easy though. You know, it's not
going to be easy, but it'd be boring if it was easy, right? It's not a good story to tell in years to come.
So true, so true. But again, that's a mindset thing as well, because you can anticipate it. And then you're not expecting it to be an easy ride.
I kind of have to practice what I preach in terms of like what I'm sort of educating people on. But then I also have to be able to implement it into my own life because, like you said, starting a business is so tough. And
it is, bro.
But it's just trying your best to just turn negative thoughts into positive and just always looking at every situation as a half glass full rather than a glass half empty. I spent many years looking at the complete opposite way, if I'm honest, but it's all part of life and it's all part of the learnings, right?
Yeah, bro. And to have this mindset at this stage is key. How old are you?
28.
Okay, so you've got time. That's perfect. And in terms of like the whole manufacturing process, like how difficult was that? Have you found someone? Have you got all the moving parts together?
So I ended up finding a really good lab/manufacturer based in the UK.
How'd you find them?
Just research online, bro. Just reached out to loads of different kind of organizations, different kind of setups. A lot were coming back saying that they specialize more with like enterprise businesses and more big MOQs. And the one that I eventually found, who I'm working with, specialize more with startups, and were really good. So they just really helped me to sort of build the product from the ground up. So I just give them an idea of like what I wanted the product to do, how it worked. I sent them some samples of other products that I've used in the past that are really good, and I would never say that they're not good products. To just give them an idea of the direction that I wanted to go in. And then it's been well over a year now, so it was 8 to 9 months actually just getting the formula and everything correct. Because they were sending me iterations, I was testing the product, and I'd say, I want this change, I don't really like the smell, can we do this, can we do that? So that was 9 months. And then we're just about to complete a 4-month testing process, where obviously they've had to test the products to make sure that it's fit for purpose and it's not going to harm anybody that uses it. So I actually had a call with my lab yesterday, my rep there, and end of this month it should pass completion. So it's literally just a case now of waiting for our bottles to arrive from overseas, and then we'll be able to fill the products. And then, I think we'll be hopefully good to launch if all goes to plan around beginning of November.
Okay. Why haven't you launched already?
So I've gone live on pre-order,
Nice.
which I went live on 3 to 4 weeks ago.
Nice.
And it's been a pretty humbling experience, let's be honest. I think naturally it's just quite an ambitious person. I thought the website was going to go live and I was going to get all these orders come flooding in.
Lol.
Let me be honest, bro, I've not had one pre-order yet. Not one pre-order.
But why would you expect anyone to pre-order it if they don't know who you are and they've never heard of the brand?
So one, like, who would want to buy a hair product that's 3 months away from launching?
They're not buying a hair product, though, remember. They're buying...
And one thing I've realised, and one thing that I've gone away and put a lot of thought into since we went for a coffee, is I haven't really gone big on like my personal branding, like my vision, my story. So all I've been doing is just like introducing the products, the benefits, what they do. But over the next few weeks, I'm going to be putting a strategy together, just more so being the face of the brand and just talking about my story and just taking people on that journey as well. Because I remember you said when we went for a coffee, your biggest regret was not documenting your journey from the start.
So true.
And I think the biggest commodity with the brand, of course, is the products, but it's me as well. And I think that's what's going to really get people brought into what we're doing. Because at the end of the day, bro, there's hundreds of thousands of hair products out there. And I don't want to market in a way to say that we're better than every other hair product out there, because we're not. It's a very good product, don't get me wrong, and it works. But our unique selling point is the journey that we take people on. And I really want to focus more on the spiritual element and the wellness. Helping people on their own journey, and that's the way that I basically want to take this brand to market. And the only way I can do that is by talking about the story myself.
Absolutely, and getting it out there, proliferating, because I did the same thing, but I invested 2.5 years of R&D and research.
I remember you saying.
And then launched and got like one pity sale off my friend.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
But my expectation was, I'm launching this and going to get a flurry of like... and then it was just nothing, and it was nothing for months. I think the biggest day I had in that first like 6 months was probably like $90 or some shit, right? It was terrible.
It's such a humbling experience because like I've spent over a year getting the product to where it is now. You spent 2 years, and naturally you think, I'm bringing something to market that people are going to want. But
bro, can you imagine, right? And you're still in this process, so you still have time to do it. If you were recording loads of manufacturer visits. If you were like putting in screenshots on your personal brand of like, here's the current communication. It's now nearly ready to go. What do you think? Which crystals should we use? Even if you just get 1 or 2 boxes.
I should have done that from the start.
But you still have time now. You haven't launched it yet. And you say you were writing a strategy. Don't write a strategy, just execute. Don't think about it.
Sometimes you can just overthink it a bit too much.
I know,
right?
But it's like paralysis analysis, and then you end up just talking yourself out of it. Because it's uncomfortable, it's different, it's uncertain, and you open yourself up for criticism. And that's the hardest thing, particularly so if you have like a specific group of friends who aren't aligned, who are going to criticize you, are they going to talk behind your back? And like it sounds stupid and petty to talk about it in this, but actually when it's just you yourself, and it's like the only thing that matters is how you feel about yourself when you're by yourself, right? That really kind of ends up being like a dark force or shadow behind the scenes, which holds you back. But then again, fast forward that 6-12 months, you're going to have not done that because you're scared of rejection, or you're scared of like humiliation.
Yeah.
But then the downstream consequences are you're not going to get any sales, you're not going to get pre-orders, you're not going to build a personal brand.
Yeah.
And for things like these, I think personal brand is super important because, like, how much research have you done into your consumer?
In terms of what, sorry?
Who's going to be buying the product? How you profile them?
Again, that's something I definitely need to look into
Bro,
more. But
you need to,
because it's obviously for people with curly hair and people that are spiritually minded or need help.
But you need to go like deeper into that, where you need to obsess over your customer. Think Jeff Bezos, right? The reason they got Amazon so big so quick is because he had a monomaniacal focus, obsession on the consumer. It's exactly what you need to do. Okay, because then now you know who they are. You talk to them in your content. Okay, and even if you don't get it right first time, the ones who actually are interested will make themselves known. Okay. So you're documenting it, and also you're letting them make the decisions, as opposed to you making decisions on their behalf. Okay. All of the best feedback comes from the market, from potential buyers. But when you're beginning, you don't know who they are, what they want, what they like, what they don't like. But it's up to you. It's one of your primary roles in the beginning, especially when you're like technically inventing a new product, to validate that and also get people to play devil's advocate as much as possible. Obviously ignoring the haters who are just spitting like vitriol at you. That will come. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, what you sell. Even if an angel fell from heaven, they're still going to get like Jesus killed. You know what I mean? So you're always going to get that, which is a resilience thing. But if you don't get a good steer on who you're building this product for, this feeds back into the branding, into the product, what it does, how it works, how you communicate that, because your messaging needs to be super refined. Okay. And this way, and it's good because you're basically documenting this, but you're not selling anything. You're just making them aware. You're building hype. You're building an email list, which when you do go live, you do have pre-orders, you have a community ready-made, hopefully, that are engaged in you and your story, in this product. They're probably not even that bothered about the product. They're just bought into you because they like watching people like behind the scenes.
It's good to see the journey, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's just difficult. Because if you're doing it on your own personal account or whatever, it can be difficult. But I think YouTube is very good because, especially if you don't have a YouTube account, no one who knows who's on there. You know what I mean? You can build it and then.
So you would do it on YouTube as well as do like a series on YouTube and then do like Instagram stories, reels. Obviously,
I'll go long form YouTube, and this is like me. I only started like 3 or 4 months ago. Okay, and this is exactly what I'm doing. Is like YouTube first because it compounds on itself. Instagram, whatever, Twitter, Facebook, they are there for a second and then they're gone, they're lost in the feed. YouTube allows things to kind of compound and grow on each other because it doesn't have like a specific time of relevance. It also, as I said, it compounds in itself, whereas others don't. But if you can go long form, you can crop that up and make engaging content for short form based on what's doing well on YouTube, because it will tell you if it's good or not, basically, if it's getting views. But you have to be okay to go through the suck phase for at least 6 months if no one's watching you.
You just got to keep
no one's
grinding.
Engaging, exactly. But that's
where I'm at the minute.
That's where
like
everyone gives
followers.
up. That's where everyone gives up because they think it's not working, it's not good, no one's watching it. It's easier to do it, not do it before. But that's the thing. If you look at pretty much every YouTube channel ever, other than Ronaldo recently, like it flatlines for a long time, and then it slowly starts to go up and up and up and up and up. Okay, but that time, which is probably like 80% of that timeline, is nothing. But they persisted. If they stopped at any point before that, those compound impact of where they are now wouldn't have been allowed to happen. And then remember, I'm just assuming it is a thing, because it is for me anyway, or it was for me, putting stuff out on like a personal social media, no one above you will ever criticize you.
I've seen.
No one. Always the ones below. And particularly so in the UK, when they have that crabs in the bucket syndrome, if they see you getting out, they want to drag you back down again. You need to be able to like elevate yourself out of that limiting small mindset. Because sometimes when you do well or you try something, the others criticize you because it makes them take a good hard look at themselves.
Them, right?
Exactly. When really, this is you, this is your life. You're 28, you need to make, you're fully dedicated.
It's like sink or swim for me now. Like, I need to make this work.
That's good, but you will make it work. But the thing is persistence and resilience over time. That's the key. So what's next? What's the plan? Where you up?
I'm trying to figure it all out at the minute, Brian. I know we touched upon this very briefly before we jumped on the podcast, but as you know, I quit my 9 to 5 to go full time into what I'm planning to do with the brand. And naively, I thought that I was going to go on pre-order. I was going to get all of these orders come in, and I was going to be able to come out to Bali and live the high life, right?
Oh.
So yeah, I've been humbled very quickly. Let's put it that way. So I'm now trying to figure out what the right thing to do is, whether I go back to the UK, build the brand from there. So that's where all my stock's going to be, build a bit of a journey from the UK, maybe go back and get a part-time job just to help sort of keep my head above water. And obviously I'd love to get your opinion on this. Or is Bali my long-term future? And do I just go all guns blazing into this and just take a bit more of a risk rather than going back to the UK to make it work? I'm in two minds at the minute, bro, but I'd love to get your sort of feedback in terms of what you would recommend, what you've done at the start of your entrepreneurial journey in e-com, and yeah, just any advice you could give me, bro. I'd appreciate it.
No problem. Just before I give that, how is the whole quitting your job going all in? How is that process?
What, in terms of?
Just like, because that's like one of the most terrifying things anyone to do is cut off their lifeline. Their what do you call it? Their heroin addiction to a monthly paycheck. Like cutting that off from a survival instinct perspective is hard. So
at first, bro, it felt more like a weight off my shoulders because I end up hating the job anyway. So I remember walking out of the office and thinking, yeah, that's it. I'm going to be a big entrepreneur now. I'm never going to work for somebody else ever again. I'm going to come out to Bali. I'm going to do all these big things. And it's only really the last month where I'm just like, I need to be a lot more realistic now. And it's a marathon, not a sprint. There's a little bit of me now that's just like, I need to be a lot more strategic and a lot more realistic in terms of how I'm going to get this brand to be successful, you know?
To get to that point of like, it sounds like it was coming anyway then, right? If you were going to leave your job. Did you have like savings? Did you just like take the leap and then just kind of
I've got a little bit of money put aside. Obviously a lot of my savings has gone into obviously the development of the products, and it's not cheap, as I'm sure as I'm sure you know. But I thought that I was going to launch, I was going to sell all these products, and then I was going to be able to, I was like, I'll come to Bali as long as I can pull a grand, 1,500 quid out of the month out of the business, then I'll be okay because it's cheap out here and I'll make it work. But I've come to realize, is now the right time? Do I need to be in the UK where my stocks are, do all of the fulfillments myself, and then come back out to Bali once I'm a bit more financially stable and I can afford to come out here and actually not have to worry about money, because I feel like the way I'm going, and I am worrying a bit about money at the minute, and I don't want that worry to then have an impact on the brand where I'm making rash decisions because I'm making choices that it's going to help me bring money into the business quicker rather than doing it strategically, letting it sort of go organic and then going home, running it more as a side project to start with. But it's so hard because I'm obsessed with podcasts and books and everything like that, and every entrepreneur says different. Like, some have the mentality of like, if you try and chase two rabbits, you catch none. And then you have the others that are a bit more risk adverse and are like, do not quit your 9 to 5 until you can. So I'm trying to figure it out, bro. I'm trying to figure out. And what do you suggest?
What does take your own personal thing of it? What do you think is best for the business? Objectively or even subjectively?
Best for the business is going back to the UK and running it part-time. What's best for me? I don't know.
Okay, so does that answer your question?
Yeah.
So what made you come to that conclusion? Why did you say that?
I just think because of money. I think money. It's going to, I know that it's going to take me a lot longer to get the business off the ground than what I initially thought. And I need to keep my head above water while I'm in that process of getting it off the ground, you know.
So you already know.
I would absolutely love to be sitting here with you now saying, I've got all this money put aside. I want to come to Bali. It's a spiritual capital. I can meet like-minded people, big e-com guys, successful people. And that's where it's hard, because I know Bali is the right place for me, because I'd never have met you if I wouldn't come out here, right? And I've learned so much just from the conversations that we've had. And would I be able to meet people like you in the UK? Probably, but it's harder to get to people,
Very
you know?
So.
It's just, I'm trying to figure it out. I just don't know what's right.
Remember, like in the beginning of any new pursuit, whether it's business or it's a habit forming routine, it's very front-loaded effort, and all of the momentum, would you say, to overcome inertia in the beginning to get things rolling is that mammoth effort, right?
Yeah.
And I always give that analogy of like the strongman pulling the truck.
Yeah.
80-90% of the effort is in just moving at that first couple of inches.
Yeah.
And then it's Newton's, was it first or second law? Motion, object in motion stays in motion, and that's acted on by an equal or opposite rate of force. Okay.
You're too clever, mate. You're too clever.
It's not, bro. It's just trained over time. Because I've been through it, and I'm obsessed with learning. For me, every day is a school day. Every single day. I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
But I kind of had to be initially, because I didn't know anything in business, so it kind of forced me to do it. But anyway, when it comes to like those early months or years in your business, it is incredibly difficult. One, because you don't know what you're doing. Two, because money is a scarce resource. Yeah. And I think the expectation versus reality is, I'm just going to launch it. I'm going to be able to cash flow, passive income. Yeah. Everything's going to work, and I can just like fuck off to Bali or Dubai and chill. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the expectation. The reality is completely different, because in the beginning, you have to work hard enough to not have to work hard. Yeah. Okay. And what that means is, whatever you want probably is going to be, whether you like it or not, sidelined. Yeah. Because you have to nurture this business, this baby, this cash-eating monster, of which you have no idea how to cater for, to care for, to grow, to maintain, to expand, to manage, to run, to operate. Yeah. No idea, right? You've never done it before. Finding your way in the dark. Yeah, 100%. Obviously, there's a lot of learnings. The learnings are really, really, like, they're steep, but they're fast as long as you apply yourself to it. But when I first started, bro, I worked so many stupid little jobs on the side, like washing dishes, bro. And this was like, I was the same age as you, 27, 28. Yeah. All my pals got a fucking Range Rover, 3-4 bed house, nice watch, like going on like amazing holidays. And there's me washing dishes. Yeah. In an Italian restaurant where my dad works. Really? Yeah. And I remember sometimes a couple of my pals would come. Yeah. They were just out for dinner. And then my dad, is a super good guy. It's like proper Italian dude. Be like, oh, come and say hi. I'm, oh my God. And he's like dragging me out of the kitchen, fucking washing hands and bits, going to say hi to my pals. They've got like fucking baby in the pushchair. I'm like, oh my God.
I'm past the dad.
I'm not literally, I'm not even joking. The last time that happened, the guy who I went to school with, who came, arrived in a Ferrari as well. Can you imagine like the level of like, I'm just like penny on, stinking, honestly, bro. But that my point is,
you are today, bro.
I know, but it's like no sacrifice, no victory. Okay. I drove Ubers. I worked so many different jobs. It was like a running joke. Yeah. The thing that I did for the longest amount of time was I cared for my granddad who got Alzheimer's. Yeah. Because the care system in the UK is fucked. Like the carers would not turn up. They would steal from him. They would forget to give him his medication. So I was like, I'll do it, but like, just pay me a little bit of what you would pay them. Because there's no funding or anything in the UK. You have to pay it out of your own pocket. So he essentially, like, unofficially employed me. Yeah. Not employed, but like, and I lived on £250 a month for like 2 years. Okay.
Really?
Bro, like.
Was this while she was
what it entailed was, in the morning, I would have to go up, get him up out of bed, make him his breakfast, make sure I had his tablets for an hour, 2 hours. And then I would have from 10 till 4 or 5 to work on my business, and I'd drive all the way back. So I'd drive through rush hour in the morning and rush hour at night, like an hour each way, and then an hour getting him up, making him dinner, whatever, washing him. Bro, you do not want to be washing your granddad.
Yeah, of course.
Like, at any stage.
Especially when you're someone with just such high ambitions. Yeah, you're just like, this is the last thing I want to be doing.
Bro, and it's horrible. Like, there's some shit that never needs to be seen. You know what I mean? But anyway, the point is, like, I was willing to do, and this is almost like me demonstrating to the universe that whatever you will throw at me, I will find a creative way to come over, and this is how much I want it. Okay, I'm willing. And bear in mind, I'm not young. I'm not like 19. Yeah. Long-term girlfriend, apartment. I remember borrowing money off her parents to pay for the rent. The car I had in recruitment, I had to sell. My family gave me my granddad's old car to drive. Really? Yeah, bro. But like, this is like proper humbling. But what it allowed me to do was it allowed me the freedom of time and energy to be able to channel at least like 6-7 hours into growing the business. Yeah. And then again, I started work in the morning, do him. Yeah. Go back, work, sort him out, go back, work again. around the clock. I can't remember like how, I think it was over 3.5 years I didn't have a single day off, not a single day off. Okay. But that's the level of like intensity I worked at just to get this thing going. But my story is different because I couldn't have picked a more difficult product or niche. I invented something that wasn't there before, which is a very difficult market to get into. A lot of like, I don't know, it was just a very difficult brand. I couldn't have picked a more difficult niche to break into. If I'd applied all this time, effort, and focus on a more established market or product, things wouldn't have been that hard. They wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't have picked a harder niche, literally. I picked the hardest thing you could possibly do.
Yeah.
So my learning curve was like, it was steep, but it took a lot longer to get anywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
It was only when I started with the second ecom business with the golf that things actually started to take off, because there was like all of these learnings applied downstream.
All of them sacrifices you made, all of them learnings.
Just but the thing is that second brand wouldn't have done so well if I hadn't been through everything before that, because
you learned from your mistakes. Right? And
so I had
you learn what not to do, what to do, or both.
Because I had the depth and the breadth of knowledge as an operator, as a technician, as a CEO, from a mindset perspective. So all of that applied knowledge wasn't wasted energy. It was stored potential latent energy to be put into something that when you do enter an established market, and yours is good, you have an established market, you have two kind of upcoming market side of things as well, which I think is amazing. You're already ahead of where I was or would have been. So I don't know if that answers your question, but in the beginning, like, your business is your baby. It's almost like, say, I'm going to have a baby in the UK, but I'm going to live in Bali. Like, it's not good for the baby. It's not good for you. You need to be close. You need to be controlling as much as possible, because if you don't understand certain things, like, it's very difficult for you to have any control or influence of what happens or what doesn't happen, particularly so in a product-based business. If you're doing R&D, you need to test things, you need to meet people, you need to be there, and you have to be basically the chief sales guy.
And I need to be in
until you get like a base level of income. Okay. That, and also it's not just the income, it's the infrastructure, because the way my businesses are built, all ecom, is on a virtualized architecture. Okay. Lots of moving parts, but I'm nowhere in this mix. Okay. Because it's outsourced, it's delegated, it's automated. But before you can automate things, you need to first understand how they work at a small scale manually, and then you apply automation. Automation allows you to scale. You're not at a point to scale yet. Okay. So even if you just have Bali as your 6 to 12 month objective of this is where I'm going to go. But to do that, I need to do X, Y, and Z. I need to get this revenue. I need to distribution in place. I need to have established product market fit. I need to be out speaking to people every day, getting their opinions. You know what I mean? Until you have that baseline revenue, it's almost like unrealistic to say that I'm going to be able to live abroad. But the thing is, you have this as your North Star goal and objective.
Something to work towards and know what I want and strive towards that.
And remember, pain plus reflection equals progress. Okay. If you can put yourself through a little bit additional pain in the UK, and now you know what it's like in Bali and how good it's going to be for you. This is going to get you up when it's difficult. This is what's going to help you push through when the world literally seems like it's like throwing daggers at you, because you have this North Star vision, this goal. But your business needs to be nurtured. Okay. If you can do it from Bali, I don't know how, but if you can, fine, no problem.
I think the only way that I can possibly make it work in Bali, if I was to go out and get funding or go down the private.
But then what are the funders going to think? Because they're going to want, remember, the thing is,
that's not the route that I want to go down, but that's the only possible option. Otherwise, how do I survive?
But think about it. They're going to want you on the ground. They're going to want you like chief salesman, speaking to everyone, managing everything, oversight. It's hard to do that from the other side of the world, in the beginning anyway, until you have established product market fit and a baseline recurring revenue. So I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm telling you what to do.
Mate, you've clarified what I already kind of knew was the right decision anyway. As much as I don't want to do that, it's the right thing for the brand, and I just need to humble myself a little bit and just know that I need to work towards what I want rather than expecting it to just all come in open.
But you also need to get crystal clear with what you want and when you want to buy. Like, you need to have an obsessive focus on this. Crystal clear. You know, we were talking about synchronicities before. Unless you define what you're optimizing for, what you're working towards, it's impossible for the synchronicities to come up. Okay, because things will happen to you instead of for you and through you. Okay, so if you can spend a good chunk of time on this master plan, what it looks like, but like to the craziest level of detail of what your perfect day or situation looks like, And I don't just mean cash in the bank. I mean like your relationships, your health, your routine, how you dress, the thoughts you think, all of that can be carefully architected. And now you have something to optimize towards. And if you come to a crossroads where I don't know what to do, you can make it a binary decision of, does this decision move me closer towards that goal or away from it? And then automatically you know what to do. Irrespective of how difficult it is.
How did you do that yourself at the start? You're a spiritual kind of minded person, I take it. Was you already quite spiritually minded at the start of your journey, or was it just something that you kind of sort of grew into as you started to grow with the business and yourself?
It was all mentor. So I was brought up in a cult. Again, done a few podcasts and listen, I won't get too much into it, but I always had like an affinity for like a higher power. But did I believe in it? Not really. I just kind of have a reverence that there is something higher intelligence than us. But does that mean I'm gonna like govern my life to appease a white-haired old bloke sitting on a throne with a staff? Probably not. But am I gonna try and live in integrity with like certain values, or I'm gonna build brands that actually have a net positive impact on the world? Yes. Okay. I had a lot of, well, at least one particular mentor who kind of got me into it, and that sent me down the whole Bob Proctor, Joe Dispenza, that side of things, just purely from like an intellectual, I'm interested in a perspective.
That's the same as me, bro. Like, it's intriguing, right?
For sure.
The mindset element is just, your mind's such a powerful tool, and you have to get it right. But it can be so detrimental if you can get it wrong, which I've come to realize. Right.
I have a document called The Alchemy of Self. I got it from one of my mentors, Sam Ovens, and that literally has been my Bible. I can show you if you want. It's actually in my mentorship program. I give it to anyone who's in it, and that's the first thing that we do. Is we get crystal clear with what we're optimizing for. But it's not just about like the material side of things. It's also about who are you becoming, because you have to, it's a process, not an event, but you have to become a person worthy of having that success, of that responsibility. Because if you're not, it will just break you. And a perfect example of that is the lottery winner. Overnight success, within 3 to 5 years, they're not back to zero, they're actually back into debt. Because they haven't upgraded their mindset to a level where it's actually going to allow them to be a careful steward of that money. And this is why your network is so important, because you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And that's something in the UK, if you can carefully architect that to make sure that you're not back in the Jack the Lad. Fair enough, like once a month, go out with the guys, have a crack. But you can't live that life anymore. It's not compatible with business, particularly so in the beginning, because they will suck you down. If they're doing drugs, if they're going out drinking, whatever, which is just standard in the UK. They live for the weekends, right? That's it. That's their point of escape.
But you've got to have to escape that.
So if you can try and have good people around you, get into entrepreneurial circles. But bro, like the mentor side of things is the most important, and that's what changed my life. Without that, in the beginning, I couldn't afford anything. Okay, I literally couldn't. So my mentors were virtual. I was reading books on YouTube, reading podcasts. This is why I'm saying I become a student of life. Until the point where I can actually work with someone and they can point me the way. And you say even that Sam Ovens mentorship was like a pivotal moment where things actually started to compound at that point because of the mentorship. And that's what I'm building.
And that's why, I love what you're doing with the school community. And that's why obviously I joined as well.
And I've just launched my one-to-one mentorship as well, where I'll walk through new stage or existing entrepreneurs to get them to, that's my kind of sweet spot, is get them from 5 to 6 figures a month. That's what I've done 7 times profitably as well, and success leaves clues. And this is kind of one of why and how, and this is the vision and mission I feel or have felt attracted to for probably the last couple of years, is to almost feel like a sense of obligation to pass down this knowledge. Because it's almost unfair to keep it to myself. It's such a force multiplier that this can literally change your whole life, but not just yours, those around you. Because a rising tide lifts all ships, right? And then also the second order, third order consequences of the people your product or service is able to impact. So I'm saying it's almost like a responsibility to give back, and this is why I'm doing this now. Obviously, yes, I still have all my brands still involved. But because it's automated, it's systematized, it's outsourced, it doesn't take as much of my time. And my passion is now just talking business. I absolutely love it. That's kind of what, that's why everyone says, like, why you just stick to your brands. Like, this is literally the reason. I love it. There's so much energy for it. But I'm trying to create, and this is the whole thing, is to create a resource that I needed 10 years ago. It wasn't there. It didn't exist. Okay. If I had all of the knowledge I have now 10 years ago, bro, I would be a billionaire right now. I'm not even exaggerating.
5 years at minimum.
I'd be a billionaire, bro. I would literally be a billionaire right now if I had this mindset and knowledge 10 years ago. So this is your only one and true cheat code to getting ahead faster is buying the knowledge of those who want to step ahead of you. That's it. It's the only way.
Yeah.
Literally, that's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're finding your way in the dark, and bro, business is difficult enough as it is.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest things
you need the right people around you.
You really do. So
Point
you
you in
have
the
to
right
guard
direction.
against that in the UK.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not saying like go full monk model, lock yourself away.
Yeah.
I just mean like just be very careful with who you give your energy to.
Yeah.
Because energy goes both ways, and you know if someone walks in or if someone's in a mood.
Yeah, you
sense
can.
that, right? You
Energy is
sense
a powerful thing,
Yeah.
bro. Like, and I've realised
Yeah.
that.
And equally, when someone walks in the room and they lift it, you sense it as well, and it's infectious, right?
Yeah.
So if you can be around the polar uppers more than the downers, you can like create this. This is how you upgrade yourself, because it doesn't take much. Because it's just like you plant a seed of negativity. If you continue to give that energy and thought, it will manifest. It will bring you down. You won't get up in the morning. You'll feel depressed. You'll have no energy. It'll feel pointless. You won't feel like you're making progress. You know what I mean? But it's like it's only if you ascribe meaning to those thoughts that it will happen. Whereas if you're able to like almost level up on that and just see it as that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like my thing, I remember like Tim Ferriss always has the question at the end of his podcast to his guests is, if you could have one thing on a billboard for everyone to see, what would it be? Mine is always, don't believe everything you think, because your mind is wired for survival. It's wired to keep you small and comfortable from a primal perspective. Whereas if you want to grow, if you ascribe meaning to these negative thoughts, that it won't motivate you to do anything.
It's weird how there's always just that voice in your head that's always niggling away. Like,
it's
just
very
learning
good book.
how to control it.
What's it called? It's a Napoleon Hill book.
It's not Think and Grow Rich.
No. It's another one, a less known one. It's something called like Face Off with the Devil.
Okay.
Something like that. And this basically gives that analogy of like exactly what you said, the negative voice and the positive voice. That's like a recommended read to absolutely
Have you got like a list of books that you recommend? If you could send that across to me, bro, I'd appreciate it.
Have it. It's all in my, I think I should put it's in my school community, it's in my mentorship as well. But as I said, like the actual gold, like you can learn a lot on YouTube, on books, on podcasts, but the actual gold, the source is always behind a paywall. This stuff isn't available. Everyone thinks you can learn everything on YouTube. You can't. You can learn fundamental basics to get you going, but the actual source is always kind of kept in close.
You're hearing it from the horse's mouth.
Absolutely. It's guarded knowledge though. It's not widely available because it's almost like so stupid to give it away because these people aren't going to take action on it. It's wasted. So if you can embed reading, but reading the right things, if you can learn to enjoy reading, Naval says, read what you love until you love to read, that type of thing. This is how you get ahead. But the main thing for you is to keep the main thing. Okay. And that main thing is getting this product to market, documenting the process, and telling absolutely everyone about it, and not being scared that someone's going to steal it, because they are not. No one's going to steal this idea off you. No one has the same integrity and mission and pull and drive and desire to bring this into reality. No one's going to steal it. It's a limited.
I think it's impossible for them. Obviously, they can steal the idea of like the concept of obviously the crystals and stuff, but I think I've got such a unique story to tell that it's impossible to replicate it, right?
But that's also your superpower, and that needs to go through the whole thing. When we look at the website after, this is what it needs to be. Is this mission-based? Your story needs to carry through, because this is their why. Because you're not selling hair, you're not selling a solution to the hair problem. You're selling like the mindset shift, the lifestyle thing.
100%.
And that's your superpower. If you can double down on that. Makes sense.
Makes sense, bro.
Cool. Any other questions whilst we're on this, or we can jump on the website?
Let's jump on the website. I really appreciate all of the like the feedback, and like I said, you've given me you've kind of answered what I kind of knew was right anyway. Don't regret coming out to Bali one bit. I've been here for nearly 3 months, and I've had the most amazing experience, met amazing people, and I think I've got quite a good story to tell now when I do go back to the UK, to be like, I went out to Bali, was able to meet with like spiritual people, like-minded people, and I've learned so much about spirituality that I can implement not just into my own life, but into the brand as well. So I think it just adds a bit more sort of emphasis on my story. And like I said, had the opportunity to meet you, come to your villa, and I've learned a hell of a lot, and I'm sure there's lots more that I'll be able to learn in your community and stuff moving forward.
100%. It just all starts with the intention, and then it is daily violent action towards that goal. And I use violent deliberately, because it's actually a reaction, right? And it gives you like how like a good like metaphor of how much action you need to take every single day. Because say this every time, no one's coming to save you.
Yeah.
No one's going to do the work for you. It's up to you to go and get out of it.
Yeah.
Go and get after it.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
Yeah.
So,
I do have one question actually. It'd be good to just understand more about like your daily routine and like how you structure your day to make it effective by obviously working on your business, but then also working on yourself as well. So obviously it's a big part of any sort of entrepreneurial journey. So
yeah.
I'd love to just know like your day-to-day kind of routine.
Okay. So everyone calls me a robot.
Okay.
Everyone. I'm probably the easiest person to stalk in the world because I do the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
Same places, same food, nothing.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is, for me, routine equals results.
Yeah.
Now I'm on mission.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
I'm the same.
It's so true. The Rob Moore thing, actually, I got it from him. Routine equals results. I think he has a book called Routine Equals Results.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to minimize decision fatigue. So I'm trying to reduce the amount of decisions I have to make, so I have more creative, productive energy to put into the things that actually matter and make money and obviously produce growth on the other side. So morning, I normally up 7:30, 8, protein shake, raw goat's milk, cacao powder, supplements, Tongat Ali, two other things I don't remember they're called. This is like a testosterone stack.
Is that good?
Really good,
mushroom,
definitely recommend.
Yeah.
With when my leg comes back, I got a
it's all about, it helps your like brain and like your stimulation and stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's like a mushroom, like a mushroom.
I don't know. I don't think you can actually buy it in the UK.
Oh, really?
No, I don't think you can. I think you can in Europe, if the UK is a bit weird with it.
It's easy to get out here.
Oh, it's fine, yes.
Bali,
fine. I think in Europe it's also fine, as the UK sometimes have like funny legislation on certain foodstuffs.
Okay.
But just a plant. I mean, I'll get with it.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. These are the two other things I have as part of the stack. It's all testosterone. You know how you say it. We got Adiorge, Agrestis, and Tribolus terrestris. Okay.
Yeah. I'll make note of that.
Testosterone stack. And then I walk around the pool.
Yeah.
Pool. Yeah. Big pool. Okay. For an hour. Okay. In that hour, 15 minutes is my own manifestations.
Yeah.
Okay. These are things I write and update regularly. 15 minutes long of affirmations, and this is why I program who I am, how I think, my belief systems, what I do, what I'm achieving, how I react to situations.
Yeah.
This is why I'm saying you need to become an architect of your life, not a prisoner of your past. Okay.
Yeah.
This is how I program it. It's recorded on my phone. I can show you in my voice. Okay.
Really?
So it's me talking to me. This is how this is.
That.
Just think of your brain as a computer program. Okay. That's the easiest way to think about it. Just like you would put in a disk drive or whatever that runs a specific program.
Yeah.
I'm programming myself.
Yeah.
Okay. The rest of 30 minutes after that, I am either reading a book, and it could be a book or a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Normally, I'm reading between 2 and 3 books at any one point in time.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, like at the same time.
So
I'll read this one there because I read multiple times a day.
Yeah.
But I leverage my time. Okay. So this is like normal downtime that I'm able to make productive. So say for example, if you're commuting to work in the morning, as opposed to listening to the radio music, use that time productively. Okay. So I'm basically leveraging my time to learn, to grow. Okay. Now I'm walking. Okay. All the time. I'm in the sunlight.
Yeah.
One of the good things about Bali.
Vitamin D.
Vitamin D. Yeah. Perfect. No better way. Okay. So, healthy start. Yeah. High protein, test stack. I'm moving. Blood's flowing. I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm programming my mind. Then I will ground. Okay. And then I'll stretch. Now I'm ready for the day.
Yeah.
Okay? At any point in there where...
So what time are we at now then? Like
9?
We look 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now at any point in that first hour, where did I say I touched my phone?
Yeah.
No phone.
Yeah. And
No
that's
emails,
something I'm
no
trying to
texts,
do myself.
nothing.
Yeah.
Because my thing is create before you consume.
Yeah.
Okay. Because the second that you're in there, you're lost, your mind's gone. Okay. That first hour is super important for me to program and take ownership of, as opposed to someone else taking ownership of that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I own that first hour. So only at that point will I then open a laptop. Okay. And then that is 2 hours of prescribed deep work. Okay. No emails, no texts, nothing. Okay. This is my creative output. Do you understand how, as a man, your testosterone cycle works throughout the day?
No.
Okay. So basically think of it as like a y-axis. Sorry, X and Y. This is your test level. This is time. So you wake up in the morning, it's high, and then it slowly dips through the day, and then in the evening it starts going up again.
Yeah.
Okay. This is why, as guys, we have our most productive output most times in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay. It's your life force, it's your drive. Okay. So those 2 hours in the morning are my most guarded, productive time. My output is crazy. Like, time doesn't exist. There's a good book called Deep Work by a guy called Cal Newport. I definitely recommend you read it.
Yeah.
And my output there is 10x what anyone else would do in any 9-to-5 job, probably in 3 days, I can do in 2 hours, because I have no distractions, no pings, no tings. Yeah.
It's just tunnel vision.
I'm just locked in, but I'm very specific what I need to do.
Yeah.
And my thing is plan tomorrow, today. So I know what I'm doing ahead of time. I don't need to think about it.
Yeah.
I wear the same thing every day.
Really?
Black top, white top, or black shorts.
Yeah.
That's it. I look at my wardrobe. Yeah. Okay. All I have is grey, white, and black.
Really?
And beige. That's it. Pastel colors, neutral. I don't have to think about it. Okay. So that's first hour. Then I'll have a protein shake. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is like real time as well, so you can actually see. I asked you to come for 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Why? Because my deep work period's over.
Yeah.
So protein shake, and then that hour I will do reactive work. Okay.
Okay.
The reactive work is emails. It's replying to messages. Okay. Now I'm allowing distractions to come in. Okay. So that's hour 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually 4 technically. So this is hour 3 of working, hour 4 of being awake. Okay. Now for the next hour, I'll get back on the pool and I'm walking again. And this time I'm listening to a book, okay, or a podcast. Same again, learning, okay. Hot, sweaty, jump in the pool, dry out, and now from 1 o'clock till 3 second deep work period of time of the day. Sorry. Okay. Same as the first one. No tings, no pings, no distractions. Like I choose when I get notifications. They don't choose when they attract my attention.
It's very easy for your phone to go off and you'd be like, oh, let's have a quick look. And then you just,
nothing snaps me out of deep work, because so I say you have maximum 4, maybe 5 hours of actual productive work a day. This is why I don't agree with the 9-to-5.
Yeah.
Okay. And your output, if undistracted work, is exponential. Okay.
Yeah.
So I protect those 4 hours. Like literally, I have a barrier around them. No one talks to me. If someone talks to me, I'm just like, nope.
Really?
Noise cancelling earphones nothing exists. And bro, time disappears. It doesn't exist. It's crazy. Okay. So now 3 o'clock, now I have my first coffee of the day. The reason for that is because this is my point of diminishing returns. My energy starting to dip. Okay. Then I will do reactive work. I'll get back to emails.
Why would you not have one in the morning, just out of interest?
Why? Because I don't like to spike my cortisol levels. Okay. So I use caffeine strategically. And so when my energy starting to dip in the afternoon, now I'll have it, because that's going to give me at least 2 more hours of deep productive work.
Yeah.
Okay. And between 3 and 5 is the time I'll take phone calls or do meetings. That's it. You will never get a meeting in before me.
Yeah.
The only time you'll get a meeting with me is between 11 and 12 or 3 and 5 in the afternoon. Okay. And the caffeine, I'm firing, bro. I can feel it. I'm firing because I haven't had anything else through the day. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'll have like chicken or rice or just something small, because you say I don't really eat that much.
You know,
I don't really. I've had like protein shake or porridge, another protein shake.
Yeah.
And then I'll have some chicken or something at like 3:30.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when I eat, I can't work.
Yeah.
Like all my energy, blood goes to
That's why
stomach.
I started doing intermittent fasting, and where I wouldn't eat until like at least 1 o'clock, because like you said, I used to find I was having breakfast and I just felt flat.
Like the thing is, all right, I'm just telling you what works for me, and the way I've structured my day is over my energy levels, and everyone has a different energy cycle. So this is I've refined this over years. This is what works for me. So I can't prescribe it. I can't prescribe it. Everyone's different. Everyone's unique. Everyone has different sleep patterns, work patterns, energy patterns. But the thing for me is I structure this around my energy, and I protect energy for deep work purposes for me. Okay. Then 5, 6, I'll drive to the gym. I'll train 6 till 7:30 CrossFit.
Yeah.
Ice bath, sauna. And then I'll have dinner, and it's normally just, again, like...
Nice.
But I'll whatever I want for dinner, I don't care.
Really?
My calories, so I do on average 16,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
And obviously CrossFit. Okay, so my energy output's really high.
Yeah.
And the key here on the evening is I actually want to enjoy. I can now switch off. Okay,
yeah,
this is when I'll factor in
hard
stuff.
To treat yourself kind of thing.
And by the time you get to bed, you're exhausted, you're knackered, you've got that sense of fulfillment.
Yeah.
Amazing.
What you typically have of an evening? Like food?
Dinner, so like 7:30, I don't know, it's normally some iteration of like chicken, salmon, rice, whatever. But I allow myself to be flexible, because I'm not training for anything. I'm not like in a bodybuilding competition. I just want to feel lean. I want to feel good and healthy. And your diet and training are your force multipliers as a man. Yeah. this is what gives you sovereignty over anything. Is you look after your brain, so you're reading. You look after your diet, so you feel good, you have energy, and obviously you're training, you're working your body. And which again just gives you more energy, more self-esteem. And like for anyone who's depressed or struggling, you change those two things, I guarantee, get those under control, everything else is a lot easier. But like people find it so difficult.
Bro, exercising and training is such an important part of happiness. Like silly as it sounds, this time last year I was fat, bro. Drinking my life away, and then I started getting obsessed with gym, and my mindset just changed. And
understand.
Sorted my diet out, and even now, like if I wake up and I'm in a bad mood, I'm opposite to you, where I will train first thing in the morning because I have to set my day up. But I can wake up naturally in such a bad mood, and then as soon as I'm trained, I go for a run. My whole mindset just changed, and I'm ready to like attack the day.
That's the best way to train in the morning. Like it's perfect. Again, fishery test levels peaking as well. The only reason I don't do it is because I like to pent up energy and then release it into a fucking hard grueling CrossFit session on an evening. And that's just because that's what works for me. I feel I'm better. I get more output in the evening. But if I was to prescribe, I would definitely say work out in the morning and get up earlier as well.
Even if it's just cardio, like if I do weights in the evening, I'll have to do something first thing of the morning just to set the day up.
Just move the body. I'm still doing it. I'm just walking. I'm not like training. But I remember when I was in Amsterdam, I'd cycle for 45 minutes. Just anything to get out, get blood going.
Get your brain.
And you've accomplished something before you've even opened your laptop to start working. You have that sense of accomplishment. Energy levels are higher. So, but this is all a choice. That's the thing. This is why I say life either happens to you or for you and through you, because all of these things are decisions. You choose to do this, okay? And the force multiplier, if I was to give anyone advice, is you need to take action irrespective of how you feel. Don't feel like it, do it anyway. Feeling tired, don't care, go anywhere. Don't go, go anywhere.
Discipline.
Feeling discouraged, feeling depressed, don't care, get up, do something, move. And I guarantee you, it is almost impossible. Once you have moved, you've done something, you've accomplished something, you've done the hard thing, for you to come back and not feel at least a basic level sense of accomplishment. And guess what? That then is the lead domino, and then you have more energy, you have, you know what I mean? You're able to actually accomplish more and more and more because of just doing that one hard thing, irrespective. Like, bro, like sometimes, do you think I want to work? Like, look, beautiful, I could do that and go anywhere. Don't feel like working, I don't care. I do not dictate my my work or what I do based on how I feel. I don't care. I'm like, same with the gym. For me, training, eating well, my routine is a hygiene standard, and I never drop below that. And that's the thing that allows you to compound and almost have this superhuman like output, because everyone thinks you're special or you're different or you're gifted. Bro, I come from poverty. I come from literally nothing. This is all a choice. That's the thing. Okay. This is what I try and get across. But I'm not special. I'm not. It's just these little 1% things compounding over a long enough time horizon that makes you appear different or better. I'm no better than anyone else. I'm fallible. I make mistakes all the time. I still feel like I'm finding my way in the dark. Still.
Such a powerful way to look at life, because it's very easy for like someone in your kind of position now to just be like, yep, I've made it.
Bro,
like,
that's literally pride's beginning of a fall, right? Like literally, it's probably one of the most dangerous things you can do. Stay humble, stay in the learning mindset, and by the time I'm 40, I want to look back in this video and think, you're a fucking idiot. You haven't got a clue. You don't know anything yet. And if that isn't the case, I won't have been taking the right step to learn and evolve. And it's just that constant evolution over time. But that's the mindset. Every day is a school day. You're learning every single day. And you're always trying to like better yourself. And ideally those around you as well.
It's powerful, bro. Powerful. How do you juggle like your work-life balance? Do you like, is this routine that you mentioned like a 7-day-a-week kind of thing?
I don't have weekdays. No. If something needs to be done, I get it done. If I want to take the afternoon off, I'll take the afternoon off. If I want to fuck off for the weekend somewhere, I'll go. I don't have these constraints on me. Main thing is, as long as I get what needs to be done in a timely manner, it's effective, and I get it done right first time, or I'm able to delegate and outsource, then it doesn't matter. Like, bro, I can work from the moon. As long as I have a laptop, internet connection, I'm good. Okay? But you don't hide away from problems. You don't bury your head in the sand. You get out, you attack them, you get out in front of them. As I said, no one's coming to save you. But the thing is, with not having work days, like weekdays are like a basic structure for me to be able to organize and put meetings in, and that's it. Like Sundays don't exist. I'm not bothered. It doesn't make a difference. If something needs to be done, it gets done. If I want to take like proper time off, I'll take proper time off. It's not a problem. But you have to work hard enough to not have to work legally to allow that to be the case.
Because you've got to a point where you've built a good foundation with your business and stuff. You've probably got people that back home that are doing a lot of the hard work, and it's just you're here just sort of keeping things ticking over.
But it's value stack all the way down, because again, you can interpret that the wrong way as you're just living this like crazy nice life in Bali and everyone's like in the machine room, you know what I mean? Sweating, getting paid nothing. That is not the case at all. I am creating livelihoods. If I don't create this job, they're going to work even harder for even less for someone else. They want this. They want to be able to work and live this job, because I also offer them complete time, location freedom. They can do their work from anywhere. It doesn't matter.
How many staff roughly have you got in the UK?
I have no idea, because most of it is outsourced and delegated. So say 3PL, I don't know how many people work there. I have no idea. In terms of like who run my company, myself and my business partner, a customer service rep, email guy, ads guy, that's it. But every one of those can live and work anywhere. The only things that are set and fixed are manufacturing and distribution. And they manage themselves. They're employers. They have employees. And the good thing is, I'm not leveraged, because if they have a problem, they have an issue with staff, they find someone else. So I'm just kind of de-risking. It's like having like an agency, for example. If you don't have a single point of failure if your one person leaves. But I do like to create close bonds with those who work closely with me on the important things, like my business partner, like my ads guy, my emails guy. But they're all, doesn't matter where they are. Doesn't matter, and that's the key. But this is how I say a rising tide lifts all boats or all ships, because the revenue you're able to generate, the livelihoods you're able to provide, means now they can make money. They can build a house. They can have money for their family. You know what I mean? And that trickle down effect.
You want them to be part of the vision, right?
Absolutely, and if I win, they win too. Everyone wins. So it's not like it's this kind of capitalist vision of like you've got a sweatshop out in China somewhere. I don't have anything in China. It isn't like that's just like a very warped, limiting belief system. Because guess what? There's a really good book guy called, he's the founder of Lululemon, Chip Wilson. And I think also the end of Shoe Dog in Nike, where they address how these have these factories.
I listened to audiobook of Shoe Dog the other week.
It's a long ass story. It's super interesting though, because that's
but
just
what I loved, and it was so relevant to my journey, because he literally, like, most of the book is like all about the struggles, and then literally the last bit is when he actually talks about the success of Nike.
Say there's like 1,000 pages, 999 are struggle in just one.
And it's so good, like as a new entrepreneur, to just hear that journey, to just know that it's a struggle to get to the top, bro. But if you grind and you sacrifice,
if he gave up at any one of those points, and big things like lawsuits and stuff, the Nike today wouldn't have existed.
Even like when he had the idea of like putting a bubble into the sole of the trainer, he was just
if Adidas got that, or they didn't want it, that's completely different. But that's what I'm saying. Like, enough decisions compounded over time will get you there. The main thing is that you don't quit. That's the number one rule. If you quit, all that stored energy is gone. You're allowed to pivot and change and evolve and grow and listen to the market. You are not allowed to quit. It's okay for the product, the brand to evolve over time. But the second you quit, that's it, game over, lifeline cut off. I don't do that. Good.
You kind of just have to build a bit of a delusional mindset, don't you? Where you're just like,
Steve Jobs,
even if you don't believe it, you have to believe it.
Bro,
it's just
they talk about Steve Jobs having a reality distortion field. That's what I've got. That's what you need to develop and cultivate, because to everyone on the outside looking in, you're an alien. You're a robot. Reality distortion field. That's the thing. I don't want to say this in an arrogant way, but I just know for a fact in like 2, 3, 4, 5 years time, I'm going to be back in Bali, and I'm going to say to you, remember when we sat there, done that podcast, like I just got a pre-order, hadn't sold no products, and like here we are today. Like I could see it in my mind, and like that's what I want to work towards. Hold it in your hand then.
If you see it in your mind, you can hold it in the palm of your hand. Love that.
There you go. So, make it happen, bro.
Let's
do it.
I'm gonna try. I'm trying.
Don't try. Remember, it's a Yoda quote. There is no try, only do.
Love that. This is why I come on podcasts like this to learn.
All right.
Thanks for your time, bro. Appreciate it.
Hope that was useful. Hope it's useful to everyone watching as well. If you have your own brand you're starting or looking to scale, drop me a message in the comments, and also click the link in the description if you want to work with me one-to-one. I'm now working one-to-one with mentorship clients. So it's useful if you think it'd be good to work together. If you're wanting to scale your own brand to 10K, 100K a month, I'm your guy. I can help you. click the link in the bio. But yeah, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much. Yeah, man, appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All good. How's that, bro?
Really good. Enjoyed that.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I was a little bit nervous at first, but you ease into it then. It just becomes a conversation.
Just having a chat, bro. Like,
yeah.
Ignore the camera.
It was good. No, I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed it. Lots of value taken as well. So it's good.
The only thing that matters is action now, though.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Action.
Yeah.